If there's one secret every gardener should know, it's that worms are the hardest workers in your soil. They aerate, fertilize, and build humus faster than anything you can buy in a bag. But here's the real kicker. Worms don't just need a place to live, they need the right food to thrive. Most of us toss in kitchen scraps, mulch with leaves, or bury bits of cardboard to bring them in. Those methods work, but there's one overlooked ingredient that not only attracts worms in droves, but also fattens them up so they reproduce faster and work harder for your garden. That secret is soybean meal. At first glance, soybean meal doesn't look like much. It's a plain, ground-up byproduct of soybeans, commonly used as animal feed or as an organic fertilizer. But to earthworms, it's like steak and potatoes. It's high in protein and breaks down slowly, creating a steady food source that worms can detect from yards away. Unlike kitchen scraps that can rot too quickly, smell bad, or attract pests, soybean meal is gentle on the soil and provides a long-term buffet for worms and the microbial life they depend on. Once you introduce it into your garden, you'll notice worms tunneling in faster, staying longer, and leaving behind more of their black, crumbly castings, the black gold every gardener craves. The reason soybean meal works so well comes down to protein. Worms need it to grow and reproduce. Think of your compost pile or garden bed as a worm gym. Kitchen scraps and shredded leaves are the warm-up, but soybean meal is the protein shake that builds muscle. When worms consume this protein-rich food, they bulk up, multiply, and process more organic matter than ever before. Within weeks, you'll see not just more worms, but healthier, fatter worms capable of transforming your soil at lightning speed. Using soybean meal is simple, and it doesn't require any special equipment. Many gardeners like to sprinkle a thin layer directly onto their garden beds and then water it in. Almost like magic, worms detect it through the soil and begin tunneling their way toward it. Others prefer to mix it into their compost pile, where it works double duty. It speeds up decomposition while drawing worms in to help finish the job. And if you use mulch, try scattering soybean meal underneath before covering it with leaves, straw, or wood chips. The meal breaks down slowly, feeding microbes and worms just beneath the surface where your plant's roots benefit the most. The trick, however, is moderation. Soybean meal is powerful, and while worms love it, too much in one spot can create a surge of microbial activity that heats up the soil. Start with a light sprinkling and observe. You'll likely see worm numbers explode in just a few weeks, and once you've got them, they'll continue to multiply on their own. With time, you'll have a self-sustaining population that never stops improving your soil. But the benefits of soybean meal go beyond worms. As it breaks down, it releases nitrogen, one of the most vital nutrients plants need for lush green growth. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that dump nutrients all at once and risk burning your plants, soybean meal offers a slow, steady trickle. Your plants get what they need, your soil structure improves, and your worm population thrives alongside your crops. It's the perfect closed-loop system. You feed the worms, they feed the microbes unlock nutrients, and the plants flourish. Now you might be wondering how soybean meal stacks up against the usual worm foods like banana peels, coffee grounds, or eggshells. The truth is, those are all useful, but they aren't complete. Coffee grounds are acidic and can only be used sparingly. Banana peels rot quickly and may attract fruit flies. Eggshells add calcium but don't break down fast enough to be a consistent worm food. Soybean meal, on the other hand, fills in the nutritional gaps. It provides concentrated protein that scraps can't match, making it the perfect supplement. Think of it this way: kitchen scraps are the salad bar, but soybean meal is the main course. The real magic happens when soybean meal joins forces with worms to build microbe-rich soil. Every scoop you add doesn't just feed worms. It fuels the invisible underground army of bacteria and fungi that make nutrients available to plants. Worms eat the meal, microbes feast on what remains, and together they create soil that is alive, balanced, and bursting with fertility. Over time, compacted soil loosens, water retention improves, and roots penetrate deeper with less resistance. And because worms continually deposit castings rich in beneficial microbes, your garden keeps improving season after season without the need for chemical fertilizers. This is why farmers and seasoned gardeners have quietly relied on soybean meal for decades. It's cheap, it's natural, and it works. But it hasn't gone mainstream, mostly because it isn't flashy. It doesn't come in a shiny bag with a big label promising instant results. Instead, it works silently and steadily, building up the foundation of healthy soil in a way that lasts. For gardeners who are tired of poor soil, sluggish worm activity, or compost piles that take forever to finish, this is the missing piece. So, if your garden beds are struggling or your compost pile feels sluggish, don't overlook this humble amendment. Sprinkle a little soybean meal into your soil or compost, step back, and watch what happens. Worms will come quickly, grow plump, and reward you with the richest, darkest castings you've ever seen. Your plants will notice the difference, your harvest will grow stronger, and your soil will never be the same again. In gardening, it's often the simplest, oldest tricks that yield the greatest rewards. Soybean meal may look plain, but to the life in your soil, it's pure gold. Feed your worms, and they'll feed your garden. That's the real secret.